Cześć i witam wam ponownie na moim kanale. My name is Jamie, and in today's video I want to talk about keeping your language learning fun. Now, it's very important to keep your language learning fun in order to actually learn anything. I think with anything in life, if you don't find it fun, you're not going to find time to learn that thing, and therefore you're not going to learn well or anything at all. For an example, just anything in life, when it came to me learning to solve a Rubik's Cube, I personally found that really fun, and so I started learning how to solve bigger and bigger cubes, and so it was an interest for me and just like a pastime for me to pick up a Rubik's Cube and just to mess around with it and to learn to solve it over the period of a few months while I was, listening to podcasts or while I was watching YouTube videos and that kind of thing. And so I found fun out of something so simple as a puzzle that would rotate into all these different permutations, and there was just something in it for me personally. I found very satisfying when I would solve a Rubik's Cube, even when I'm very comfortable with knowing how to solve the 3x3, for example. I still enjoy solving it every now and then just so I keep my brain active in that sort of world of puzzle solving, at least when it comes to Rubik's Cubes. I'm not normally a puzzle solver, but I found some fun in that, and so I learned to solve that. And it's the same thing for language learning, and it's the same thing for anything else you learn in life. If you don't find it fun, you're typically not going to learn well. And so with languages, a lot of people I think struggle because they sort of learn languages in a very dull and boring way. They open up their textbook and they just try and read all these grammar points. They try and read the most mundane conversations about going to the bank and trying to do some shopping and that kind of thing. And to be honest, this isn't the way that we best learn language. I think we best learn language when we are having fun, and so we enjoy the material we're consuming, and just over time, if we get enough of that, we will naturally absorb that information into our brain, and things will just start to stick, and then things will start to become more easy for us to recall. Things will start to make more sense, and it just really takes a bit of time for you to do that. How do you have fun with language learning? To be honest, this changes per person, but for me personally, I enjoy watching YouTube videos at the moment in Spanish. I have obviously my different YouTube channels with Spanish and Polish and other languages as well. And simply every night I'm going on my Spanish YouTube channel when I have like an hour or two spare, and I'll just watch videos on topics that I'm interested in anyway in English, but I'll watch them in Spanish. So for example, I found a vlogger who did like a series of videos when he went to North Korea a few years ago. So I enjoy watching vloggers anyway, and I enjoy North Korea, and obviously this is in Spanish, and so I'm enjoying that all while watching it in Spanish. I enjoy watching videos on space and on geography and on other things similar to that, obviously on world languages and on culture, and so I'm finding videos in Spanish that are on these topics because I enjoy these topics, and I'm watching these videos, and sometimes I'm not really understanding a lot, but I think if you're interested in the video topic, you're going to try and force yourself a little bit more to understand more. And personally for me, this is a really fun thing to do. And so I'm spending an hour to 2 hours every single night at the moment just watching these YouTube videos over what I would normally be doing, which is reading, because I like to switch it up. And so sometimes I'll read, and I know reading is very powerful and very useful, but if I did reading every single day, it would start to become boring for me. And so I'm switching it up, and I'm now watching videos just to keep it fun and to keep it lively for me, because again, if I was to read all the time, after a while it sort of starts to become a little bit boring for me. That's just me personally. After a while of watching YouTube videos, I'm probably going to end up going back to reading or going into another source of media just to switch it up again. And for me personally, by switching up the media that I consume every so often, that is what keeps it interesting as well, because when I go back to reading after a while, I might find I understand a little bit more because I've been doing a whole ton of listening. And to be honest, for me as well at the moment, my listening is something that needs to be improved a lot. So not only do I find it fun to watch YouTube videos for a good period of 1 to 2 hours a night, but also it's the perfect activity for me to do at the moment because it's seriously training my listening skills right now, hopefully to the point of where it will help me a lot in the future when I start to have more conversations in Spanish. By the ways you could have fun as well, watching Netflix series. If you enjoy watching dramas and that kind of thing on Netflix, obviously you've got a whole bunch of languages on Netflix that you can choose from, listening to music in the language or to podcasts, or anything that you do in your day-to-day life that you find fun, try and do that or replicate that, but in the language you're trying to learn. Some languages are easier to find content for than others, but ultimately I think if you search enough for it, unless you're learning a really obscure language, you should be able to find something based on what you enjoy. The only other issue then would be trying to find something that you enjoy at your level. Obviously, if you're a complete beginner, it may be a lot harder for you to find something you enjoy and also understand. compared to if you're like a B2 sort of level where you've got a decent grasp of the language already. So by keeping your language learning fun and fresh, it means that you're way more likely to come back to it every single day, and so you're going to be more consistent. If you don't find it fun or engaging, you're going to get so bored of it and you're going to find reasons to not do it. You're going to actively try and not do that thing because you find it super boring and mundane, and I don't want to do that thing, and so instead I'm going to procrastinate and go over here and do this thing instead. And you don't want to do that with language learning. You need to be active every single day if you can, and you need to be consistent in order to get anywhere in your language learning. The main thing with language learning is that you're active and you show up every single day, even if it's just for 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's still something that you're showing up to do. And as long as you stay consistent and you do something in your language every single day, it's a lot better than doing a whole bunch in one day and then nothing for the rest of the week. So stay consistent, and the best way to do that is by having fun, keeping it fresh. If this video helped you in any way, please let me know, comment section down below. Also ask me if you still have any questions on this topic or anything else that's to do with language learning. But with all that out of the way, dziękuję wam bardzo za oglądanie, życzę wam miłego dnia I do zobaczenia. Pa pa!